Tomorrow is not just another day. Most people will wake up, scroll, talk, move through the hours like nothing has changed. But something will have changed. Because tomorrow, an alignment begins that almost no one is paying attention to. Not because it's small, not because it's meaningless, but because it doesn't hit everyone. This is the kind of energy that slips past the surface of the world. Quiet, invisible, underrated, and yet life-altering. This Saturn-Neptune conjunction is not a loud event. It doesn't announce itself with fireworks. It doesn't scream. It whispers. And only certain people hear it. The ones who feel pressure in the air before anything happens. The ones who sense the shift before the world can explain it. The ones who know deep down that something is approaching even if they can't prove it. If you're watching this right now, that's not random. Because this alignment doesn't touch the distracted. It touches the attuned. It reaches the people who have been standing in a strange in-between season. Not fully broken, but not fully free. The people who have been carrying unfinished chapters, unspoken decisions, half-closed doors. And tomorrow, those loose ends start pulling tighter. Saturn is not gentle. Saturn is not sentimental. Saturn is the force of reality, the weight of consequence. The planet that asks one brutal question: are you actually ready? And Neptune. Neptune is the opposite. Neptune is the dream, the vision, the invisible world. The part of you that still believes your life could become something bigger. When these two meet, structure collides with spirit, and that collision creates a doorway. A doorway most people won't even notice, but you will, because something in you already knows. Tomorrow is not business as usual. This is the kind of cosmic pressure that rearranges you from the inside out, not through chaos, but through clarity. The shift isn't coming to scare you. It's coming to reveal what's real, to expose what's been draining you, to highlight what you've been postponing, and to close the distance between who you are right now and who you've been quietly trying to become. Listen carefully. This is not the moment for panic. This is not the moment for rushing. This is the moment for preparation. Because Saturn respects completion more than ambition. Saturn doesn't reward the person with the biggest dream. Saturn rewards the person who proves they can hold it. And before this alignment peaks, there is still time. Not time for a dramatic reinvention. Not time for a cinematic breakthrough. Just time for one simple signal. One small act that tells the universe, I'm not living in half-finished energy anymore. Tomorrow doesn't demand perfection. Tomorrow demands readiness. And if you prepare correctly, this conjunction will not work against you. It will work with you. Because the truth is, the impossible isn't staying impossible. The dream isn't staying distant. And what begins tomorrow is the opening of a chapter you were never meant to miss. So stay with me. Because what you do in the next 24 hours will echo much further than you think. And this is only the beginning. Before tomorrow arrives, there's something you need to understand. This alignment is not here to entertain you. It is not here to inspire you for a moment and then fade. This is an energy of consequence because Saturn is involved. And Saturn does not play with potential. Saturn does not care what you want. Saturn cares what you are prepared to carry. Most people think the universe rewards big dreams. Saturn rewards something else entirely: completion. Saturn respects the person who finishes, the person who closes the loop, the person who proves their life is built on something solid, not scattered half-decisions. So here is the first preparation, and it is almost insultingly simple. Finish one unfinished thing today. Not your entire life, not your deepest trauma, not some overwhelming transformation. One small task, One tiny loose end, that email you keep avoiding, that corner of disorder you keep ignoring, that one promise you made to yourself that you never closed, something that takes less than 10 minutes. Because Saturn doesn't measure readiness through intensity. Saturn measures readiness through structure. And when you complete something small, you send a signal that says, I can hold what I'm asking for. This is what most people miss. Dreams don't fail because they're too big. Dreams fail because the life around them is too unfinished. Saturn looks at your world and asks, is there stability here? Is there follow-through? Is there discipline beneath the desire? Tomorrow's conjunction is not a punishment. It is a rearrangement. It tightens the distance between who you are and who you've been trying to become. And the strange gift of Saturn meeting Neptune is that your imagination stops floating. Oh, for the first time in a long time, your vision gains weight. Your dreams begin to feel less like fantasies and more like blueprints. Things you once whispered to yourself in private, maybe one day, suddenly start sounding like, why not now? Because Saturn brings the framework, Neptune brings the vision, and when they meet, the impossible doesn't disappear. It becomes reachable, not through magic, through steps, through structure, through reality finally cooperating. This is the season where dreams stop being distant stars and start becoming doors you can actually touch. That project you've been carrying silently, that life you've been imagining behind closed eyes, it begins to feel less unreal. Not because you suddenly became different, but because the timing became supportive. Saturn is saying, if you're serious, prove it in something small. Neptune is saying, if you're willing, I'll show you the way. And together, they create a moment where your future stops hovering and starts landing. So don't underestimate this. The smallest completion today can unlock the biggest momentum tomorrow, because Saturn does not reward the loudest dreamer. Saturn rewards the one who is ready to build. And tomorrow, building begins. Now listen, this is where the energy becomes almost unreal, because once Saturn lays the foundation, Neptune does something mysterious. Neptune doesn't build. Neptune reveals. Neptune is the invisible current beneath your life, the part of reality you can't measure, only feel. And when Neptune merges with Saturn, something rare happens. The dream and the structure stop fighting each other. For the first time in a long time, what inspires you and what feels possible begins speaking the same language. This is the season where your imagination stops being a place you escape to and starts becoming a map. Ideas you once dismissed as unrealistic start looking manageable. Goals that felt too far away suddenly have steps. The future that once felt like fog begins to form an outline. Because Saturn brings the bones, Neptune brings the breath, and when they meet, the impossible stops being a wall. It becomes a door. But here's what makes this conjunction so strange. It doesn't always arrive as some dramatic spiritual vision. It arrives as timing. Perfect timing. This alignment bends coincidence in your favor. People think spiritual shifts show up as symbols, but under Saturn-Neptune, they show up as moments. The kind of moments that feel too precise to ignore. You think of someone you haven't spoken to in years, and suddenly they reach out. You start something small, and without planning it, you stumble into the exact opening you needed. You make one decision, and 3 unrelated parts of your life rearrange themselves overnight. This is not luck. This is choreography. Saturn controls sequence. Neptune controls intuition. Together, they orchestrate encounters you could not have engineered. And once these moments begin, they don't come alone. They come in clusters. A door opens, then another. Then something you thought was stuck suddenly moves. Life starts saying yes, before you even finish asking, but only if you're paying attention. Because the universe doesn't always shout. Sometimes it repeats. A phrase you keep hearing, a name that keeps returning, an opportunity that keeps circling back. That's Neptune. That's the current pulling you toward what's meant. And Saturn makes it real. This is the rare moment where intuition becomes instruction, where dreams stop floating and start demanding form. So do not dismiss what happens in the next days. Do not write off synchronicity as coincidence, because this conjunction is the universe adjusting the fine print, aligning details behind the curtain, making space for a path that has been quietly waiting for you. And if you feel it, if something inside you is stirring right now, that is not imagination. That is the alignment already working. The door is closer than you think, and the next step is about protecting the signal. Now, this is where most people fail, because right before a breakthrough, right before momentum arrives, people do the opposite of what this energy requires. They add, they rush, they talk, they reach outward, but this conjunction doesn't work through addition. It works through amplification, meaning whatever signal you are already carrying inside you gets louder. So if you are carrying clarity, clarity expands. If you are carrying courage, courage multiplies. But if you are carrying doubt, doubt echoes. That's why the next preparation is not dramatic, it's surgical. Before tomorrow, remove one influence that weakens your confidence. Just one. Not forever, not as a grand statement. Just for now, because Saturn and Neptune are about to turn the volume up, and you do not want insecurity on the microphone. Think carefully. Who or what makes you shrink? Is it a person whose opinions subtly drain your fire? Is it someone you speak to and afterward you feel smaller, not stronger? Is it comparison? That quiet habit of measuring your timeline against someone else's highlight reel? Or is it a sentence you've been rehearsing for years? I'm behind. I'm late. I'm not ready. That is a signal. And tomorrow, it gets amplified. So cut off when doubt frequency, not because you're running away, because you're clearing interference. A radio can't receive guidance clearly if static is louder than the message. Confidence does not grow from doing more. Confidence grows from removing what undermines you. And when Saturn builds the structure and Neptune expands the vision, you cannot afford background noise. Now listen closely. There is another mistake people make during alignments like this. They feel the shift and immediately want to announce it. They want to tell someone, I'm about to change. I'm entering my new chapter. I'm finally making a move. But tomorrow is not the day for sharing. Tomorrow is the day for protecting. Saturn rewards inner commitment, not outward declaration, because the moment you speak something too early, you expose it. You invite opinions, reactions, skepticism, and suddenly, you are carrying energies that were never yours. Your next chapter does not need an audience while it is still forming. Silence is not emptiness. Silence is a container, a sacred boundary. When you keep your direction private, it strengthens. When you stop explaining yourself, momentum builds. There is something powerful about moving in secret alignment. No permission, no justification, no debate, just inner stability. Because your breakthrough becomes real the moment you stop needing someone else to understand it. So tomorrow, keep your intentions quiet. Protect your signal. Clear the doubt. Hold your direction like a flame in the wind. Because what is coming next is not pressure. It is an opening. And the universe can only amplify what you choose to carry forward. Now listen. This is the part where everything reframes, because most people hear words like last chance, and they immediately think fear. They think deadline. They think loss, like the universe is holding a clock over their head. But that is not what this is. Tomorrow is not a finish line. Tomorrow is an opening, a doorway, a rare moment where the inner world and the outer world stop resisting each other. Think about how life usually feels. You have visions, ideas, intentions that burn inside you, but reality drags. Timing is off. Momentum stalls. Conditions don't cooperate. Or the opposite happens. Opportunity appears, but you don't feel ready. Confidence isn't stable. Clarity isn't sharp. So the moment passes. This tug of war is the normal rhythm of life. Your dream pulling one way, reality pushing the other. But during this Saturn-Neptune conjunction, that split dissolves. Your imagination stops feeling distant. Your hopes stop feeling abstract. And reality becomes more flexible, more responsive. It's as if the universe pauses, leans in, and says, "For this moment, let's work together." That is why this is rare. Not because something terrible happens if you miss it, but because windows like this do not open often. Saturn makes choices stick. Neptune expands what's possible. Together, they create a phase where steps carry weight, where commitments hold, where what you begin actually stabilizes. So do not mistake this for pressure. This is support. This is momentum that lasts. And here is the final truth. Preparation was never about drama. This conjunction does not measure your readiness by how emotional you feel. It measures your readiness by whether your life can hold what you're asking for. Can your current world support the version of you that wants to arrive? That is the question. Big futures do not land in chaotic environments. They land where small stability already exists. That's why the steps were simple. Finish one loose end. Remove one doubt signal and protect your direction in silence. Not because these actions are symbolic, because they are structural. They tell Saturn, "I can sustain what I desire." They tell Neptune, "I am willing to follow what I feel." And once the window opens, you will notice something shift. The ideas you've been holding gain form. The intentions you've been questioning solidify. The path you've been avoiding begins to look clear. Not later, not eventually, now. So if you're still here, I want you to hear this. Tomorrow is not asking you to become a new person overnight. Tomorrow is inviting you to begin. With intention, with steadiness, with quiet courage. Because the universe is not moving against you, it is meeting you, piece by piece, exactly where you are. And what begins tomorrow is not an ending. It is the opening scene of a chapter you were always meant to step into. Stay aware, stay grounded, and step forward. The window is opening.